as we look down in the Aussie side. Good to roll down there, along with the Victorians. We see some familiar faces around the joint. Harry Boyle, how are you today, mate?
Yep, pretty good.
Pretty good. You've seen you poking around yesterday, mate. What did you reckon of the Aussie side and how their prep's going into the World Cup in April?
A+.
A+ from the man, Harry Boyle. Have you seen him in action in his day? Oh, he could run it just with the best of them. But you reckon the Victorians will give him a run? You reckon they'll even get close to him?
I think it'll be a good game. Watch out.
Watch out is the call from Harry Boyle. Thanks very much there, Harry. So Sunday morning, everyone feels so bright. Grab yourself an egg and bacon and a coffee from the coffee van and come out and watch this Victorian versus Australia exhibition game here on the Olympus Horse Feed Field, the Blue Field, where all the action takes place on Sunday mornings. As we're moments from getting underway. Okay, so as we ride on for this exhibition game, put your hands together, folks. Riding on for the Victorians. It'll be the number 1 for the women's, Taylor Radford. The number 2, Katie Martin. And the number 3, Annette Radford. Right, for the men's. Thank you. It'll be Corey Byers, Cam Templeton and Jared Martin. The impact player for the women's is Kylie Jolly. Riding on for the Australian side. Looks like we're going to have the number... The number 1 will be Lauren Salido. The number 2, Beth Hafey. The number 3, Lucy Grills, with Suzette Thomas on the bench. The men will be Jim Grills, Will Weston, Lance Anderson, and Abbott Grills will be on the bench for the first chukker of the men's. Have our umpire Franklin here read the players their rights. So he's not quite ready just yet. So we're a Sunday morning, the exhibition game. Australia versus Victoria. First chukker. Time on call by umpire Franklin. We ride in. Ball's gone in. It'll bounce off the 2s. Set there. Who wants it? The 1s. It's down in amongst them. It'll be Radford. No, it won't. It'll be the sideline. Will take it. Umpire Franklin's going to line them up to all 6 players. The ball was knocked out courtesy of a horse's foot. So every player will get a fair crack at it. Ball's gone in and bounced off the 3s rackets. Gone down the Victorian side. Who will come up with it though? It'll be the number 1 for the Vicks, Radford. Taylor Radford, not riding in the green and gold colours this weekend. She was unloaded. The ball went groundward. Martin, she didn't want it. The number 2 for Australia, Beth Hafey. She's keen. She looks up, looks to find Grills. Pass couldn't come off. Too much pressure from the Victorians. Ball's gone groundward. Hafey, back to it though. Looks up, throws the ball away. Hard pressed over the sideline. Radford couldn't get it, but I'll tell you who could is Lauren Salido. She picked it up, wheeled over that 30-yard line, dropped the sideways dough in, and away she went, which will put first blood on the board for the green and gold. Umpire Geordie Tate puts it in, bounces off the twos and goes back out over the sideline. No, I didn't find the boots. They're in my car. I didn't bring my car this weekend. All I had was my work boots. So it was Taylor Radford in control, the number 1 for Victoria. And she waits for her players to grab her teammates to grab players and make it a one-on-one contest. Radford put the 10-yard throw. Couldn't quite handle it though, but she's good enough to regather. And now she looks to do the dance and step around the number 3 for Australia in Lucy Grills. But it's Taylor Radford now. And I'll tell you what, have a look at this horse of young Radford's out here. Look at the duck, the dive, the stop. His ears are pricked. He's always looking for the goals. As Radford in control, looks to make the break around now, and he does so nicely. Loves that maneuver, that horse. And that'll even the score up, 1 goal apiece. Okay, so the scorer's into the field. Ball gone in. It bounced off Solito's racket. She picked it up and good enough to regather. Got herself out of traffic too, which isn't an easy job at this level of competition. As it's Solito, looks for that 30-yard line, drops the hammer now, takes on the wood from Martin, and look at that, says worn it all, and still good enough. No, that was Annette Radford that threw it all at her, but it's Lauren Solito. Not fazed at all by the number 3, Annette Radford. And I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but Solito absolutely showing no fear as she rolls that South African goal. And that'll put them 2 goals plays 1 in the first chukker of this exhibition match. Far side of the field, bounce off the 3's racket. Annette Radford caught up there with Grills, but it's Beth Hafey, the number 2 for Australia. Looks up, finds Solito. Solito bounce, got an unkind bounce, but the reach out to grab it, and that'll put them in front by 2 goals. So Grills and Radford just getting caught out the back there with each other. And therefore it allowed the number 2 in Beth Hafey. Beth Hafey played some pretty good games yesterday. She's playing in the number 2 position. She's brought out 2 or 3 balls, I think. I think it might be 3 actually, as we line them up in front of the scorers. Umpire Franklin sends them all back. The 1s, 2s come in, 3s are set. Starters' hands. Ball goes in now, but umpire Geordie Tate has blown the whistle. Umpire Geordie Tate not happy with the lineup. Wants a nice clean lineup. They line them up straight. The 1s come in. Umpire Chris Franklin sends them back. He says, don't rush me. I want to keep me knuckles. He throws it in. It's plucked out of there by Katie Martin. Good catch too, that was, as she spins out and gets herself out of trouble. Looks up, trying to link up with Radford, who's hard pressed by Grills down there. But this will be a good matchup, the Radford and Grills team competition. As Martin looks up, finds Taylor Radford. Grills couldn't quite get that one. And the Victorians pull one back. 2 goals plays 3. So the Victorian girls linking up nicely, just nicely there. It's all about timing as we're on the far side of the field. Ball goes in, bounce off the 1s. Once again, rolls out over the sideline. Umpire Tate will regather, regroup. And he lets it go now, where it'll put it in to bounce off the number 3, Lucy Grills' racket. It'll go groundward. Who can see it? The number 2 for the Vex, Katie Martin. She's got that baldy face pony around. That sideline must be close. Spins out of trouble. Got the Australian defence. In can they come? She's winning 1, 2. Hafey unloaded her on the second. It'll sit there for her. Yes, it will. She'll keep the arc running. She's left the green and goals behind. Annette Radford's got Solito back in centre field. But it's Martin looks up, finds Radford. See the check, the stop, the turn from the little pony up the front. And looks like umpire Geordie Tate has awarded a free goal. And I think that'll go in favour of the Vex. We'll just await the umpire's call there. That's time. That's the end of the first chukker, guys. So we just checked that that last goal was a free goal to Victoria. That was a hit to the head. So a wayward racket might have found its way to Taylor Radford. So therefore that'll tie the scores up at 3 goals apiece as we're at the top of the second on this fantastic Sunday morning. Rightos, the men ride on. Here we are, the top of the second. Victoria versus Australia. Ball goes in, bounce off the threes. Who can see it? Templeton, he can see it. The number 2, offside pickup. Now, he puts a long bomb out to his number 1, and Corey Byers playing up the front. And will that ball set? Yes, no. Byers will keep it alive. Yes, he will. Where's one off Anderson for his efforts? Played. Now, this competition of Byers and Anderson, they've played a lot of polo-cross together, these lads. They've got up to some mischief too over the years as Anderson lets him have that one. And that'll be Corey Byers. He puts the Victorians in front by 1 goal. So this will be an interesting chukker because you've got Jared Martin, played a lot of men's polo cross in his day, playing out the back against Lance Anderson. The sharpshooter Corey Byers, and you got Cam Templeton, the engine room in the guts. If the Aussies are going to have a run, this will be a competition. This will be it. The ball's gone on the ground. Jimmy Grills, he can see it. He's left them all behind. He's got one man to deal with, and that's in that man Martin. Grills over the 30-yard line. Bounce, traps, regathers. Drives into the open goal. The South African throw comes through, and that'll tie the scores up once again at 4 goals apiece. Okay. 4 goals apiece. Byers and Grills, this will be a good contest up the front. Ball's gone in, bounced off the threes. It'll set there for Western. Yes, it will. Put the pass out to the free man in Lance Anderson. That 1-2 game, you've seen them play it all weekend. They've done an excellent job. Look at the pass, look at the bounce, look at the throw. Nice goal there by Jim Grills. Lance Anderson looking up, seeing that free man. And I was having a conversation with Lance last night at the bar. There, that link-up game where Western was able to grab it in the centre field, found his free man in Anderson, and Anderson looked up and spotted his number 1, Jim Grills, out in front like a good one should be. On the far side of the field with umpire Geordie Tate. Ball's gone in. It's gone down the Aussie side once again. They're not laying down for anyone. It's Anderson in control. That man in the green and gold shirt on the black pony. It's Anderson. He's got one man to contend with. It's his number 2, Will Weston. Makes it a one-on-one contest. Weston's got Templeton bailed up. As Anderson, he's got Byers to deal with. Byers is all over him. Templeton comes through. No, he's let him fly. Look at the man as cool as anything. Finds a free man in Weston on his own. Looks up. Big long pass there to Grills, which Grills couldn't quite handle it. And looks like that'll sit there, and umpire Geordie Tate will make the call. And that'll go to the Victorian number 3 in Jared Martin. So Martin takes a 10-yard throw, gets around Grills, pulls it out over the 30-yard line, which he'll sit, regather. Times a swing. Umpire Geordie Tate is indicating a hit down, so I do believe that was a hit down courtesy of the number 1 from Australia, Jimmy Grills, where Jared Martin handled that one nicely. And they'll march them all down to the 30-yard line in the goal-scoring area for the Victorians. Byers takes a 10-yard throw, looks to step around Lance Anderson once again. So it's Byers playing in the number 1 position this morning. You don't see it too often as he pulls out a little trick of his own and says, you're not the only one who can do those South African shots, Jimmy. And Byers will put him in front by 1 goal. 5 all it is. . Umpire's not happy with the lineup. They've ordered the threes to straighten up. The ball's gone in. Jimmy Grills, have a look at that. What a catch that was. And I was right there and I seen it as he takes on Jay Martin. Plenty of pace comes on, and good goal there by the number 1 in Jimmy Grills. So what a catch from young Grills there, which will put the Aussies in front by 1 goal as the ball goes in. Martin wasn't even there. Tate threw it in. But he'll be there for this one because that ball rolled out over the sideline. It'll be Tate's ball once again. Ball goes in, snapped out of there by the number 2, Will Weston. He's cleaned one up on Templeton. Weston runs the line now, gets in front of his man, looks up, finds Grills. Grills accepts nicely as he's down in this goal-scoring area for the Aussies. They're 1 goal in front. Second chuck exhibition game, and you've seen it once, twice, 3 times. Jimmy Grills coming through with the goods. As Will Weston doing all the work in the middle. Grills just doing that number 1 thing and sitting up there and taking all the credit for it. As we're in front of the scorers. Straighten up, ball's gone in and bounced off the threes. It'll sit on the ground for Martin. And Martin, it's under him. There's rackets flying from everywhere. Templeton, he can see it. He's put the pass out to his number 1. Byes couldn't make it. You see it? Will Byes get to it? No, he won't. As Grills, he comes up with it. And he looks up. He's got a paddock in front of him. Only 1 man to deal with. It's Jimmy Grills heads to that 30-yard line, got an unkind bounce. Will it sit there for him? It's back in centre field. Oh, the header, he was coming for him, boys. And that ball's still alive. As umpire Chris Franklin, he's pulled him up and he's going to throw it in to all 6 players by the look of it. And that's the end of the second chukker. That's time. Well, that's what we like to see, the level of polo cross between the Australians and the Victorians. Holy moly. I think we had the Australians up by 2 goals at the end of the second. So we have the Aussies in front by 2 goals. And a good first 2 chuckers of polo cross. If the next 4 are anything to go by, we're going to have one hell of a ball game on our hands. As we welcome back to the side for the Australians. Looks like we're going to have a change of scenery for the Australian women. Coming in off the bench will be the number 1, Suzette Thomas. The number 2, I think, might be Beth Hafey. And the number 3 will be Lucy Grills. For the Victorian women's. Looks like they'll stay the same. They'll ride on as the number 1, Taylor Radford. The number 2, Katie Martin. And the number 3, out the back, will be Annette Radford. Time on call by umpire Franklin. Thomas, she didn't want it. Left it behind. Neither did Martin. But the number 2, the engine room for the Aussies, Beth Hafey. She come up with it. Yes, she did. She's got the Victorian defence all around her. Radford trying to get a stick to it. Net comes through. Radford, 1, 2. Couldn't unload her. Beth Hafey, too good on this occasion. As she steps around. No, she hasn't yet. She's waiting for Lucy Grills to come through and take a player. That's Beth Hafey. She's still got 2 on her. 1, 2. She got away with that one, Martin. As the ball's gone groundward. No, it hasn't. It's going to be Radford. Radford puts in the pass back to Martin. Didn't come off. Will it sit out in front for her? No, it won't. The ball's gone on the ground. Who can come up with it now? It looks like it might be in the goal-scoring area for the Victorians. No, it's back in centre field. Well, it's been the number 2 for Australia, Beth Hafey. She come up with it. Hard pressed by Martin. Couldn't quite handle it. Head to net Radford. Radford comes through. The 3 for the Victorians. Shonky pass. Fell out the back of her racket. And that'll be Taylor Radford as she regains possession. And she'll bring the game back a little bit and look to put it through the sticks. For the Victorian side, they trail by 2 at the early stages of this third chukker. Radford takes on the wood, leans out for a side flick, and that'll put them in. But that'll make them trail by 1 goal. It's the Aussies by 1 at the early stages of the third chukker. Far side of the field with umpire Geordie Tate. It's bounced off the 3s. It's gone groundward once again. It looks like it's the engine room for the Aussies. Beth Hafey. She's got them coming from everywhere. Swinging like a dunny door in a cyclone. But the pass out to Grills. It's Lucy Grills in control now. Looks up to find another one. Number 1 in Thomas. Thomas hard pressed by Net Radford. As Thomas accepted the pass and put in that left turn, I thought she might have had a clear run, but the door was slammed shut by Net Radford. Not on that chance though, as Thomas puts another one through the uprights, which will give us an official scoreline that will read 8 goals, plays 6. Eight goals, plays 6. Umpire Franklin straightens them up, sends them back, puts the ball in, snapped out of there by Lucy Grills. Grills, the number 3 from Australia. Playing in her favoured position, the number 3. We've seen her play plenty of it over the years. And it's Lucy Grills. Dives under the wood from Martin. Dives under her from Radford. Pass went out, but couldn't quite make it to her. And now Annette Radford will take possession of the ball, where umpire Chris Franklin will mark the spot. So Annette Radford will get first crack at it. So nice manoeuvre there by Annette Radford. The penalty there was given because it wasn't a first call at the ball, and Suzette Thomas couldn't do much about it. But it doesn't matter because the ball somehow found its way out of the racket of the Victorians and back into the number 1 racket of the Australian attack. That was Suzette Thomas, and that'll put the Aussies back in front by 2 goals. 9-6, 3 goals. Far side of the field now, ball's gone out, it's gone way out. That first one will be onto it. That first number 3, the first one from Australia in Lucy Grills. Grills, as she checks up, lets all the players fly by, looks to link up with the 1. Nice pass, good lead there by the number 1 from Australia in Suzette Thomas. 2, cops the stick off Radford, rides into the open goal, and that'll put them 10 goals, play 6. The Aussies are up by 4 midway through the third chukker on the Olympus horse feed field at the Ballarat Carnival 2019. Umpire Franklin stops them there. Sends them back. It's bounced off the 1s, gone into the 2s. Who can see it? Grills. No, she couldn't handle it. It'll be the umpire's ball from the sideline. Where he sends them back. Not quite happy. You think they'd get the message now, Franklin. As he puts it in, Radford with a beautiful catch up the front. She finds some space. They come in the Australian defence. Puts the 1-2 back into a net. Net couldn't handle it. Yes, she can. She gets herself out of trouble now. Takes on the stick from Thomas. Says, have another go. Looks up. Riding shotgun right there with Taylor. Pass went out. Hard pressed by Grills. No, but look at the stop. Look at that little number 1 pony. What a beautiful check. And what a fantastic work there by the Victorians. Taylor Radford. Nice goal there by the number 1, which will put the Victorians, they trail by 3 goals. So just what they need. The Victorians need another one. Another catch like that would be super. Ball goes in, bounce off the 3s. Grills, no. Radford, no. Grills. Grills looks up. She's got the ball, but she's got missing a number 1. Suzette Thomas, hard press there. Lucy Grills wearing one for the team. Looks up, finds Thomas. Pass went out. Too much pace on it, though. So too much pace and Annette Radford, the number 3, doing a fantastic job down there. But that is time, players. That's time. That's the end of the third chukker. And Annette Radford, what a fierce player she is. Certainly a player that you do not want to take take for granted. And what a game of polo cross we're seeing so far. We've got the official score line from our scorers here. 10 goals placed, 7. Ten goals placed, 7 in favour of the Aussies. As the Australians have had a swap around, they're going to line back up as the number 1, Jimmy Grills. The number 2 will now be Lance Anderson. And the number 3 out the back, Will Weston. The Victorians are going to stay the same though. The number 1 up the front, Corey Byers. The number 2, Jared Martin. And the number 3, Cam Templeton. As it looks like the penalty will be carried over from the last chukker. So before the timer went, a penalty was given in favour of the Victorian side. So that will be carried over, and Jared Martin, the number 3 from the Vics, he'll bounce the ball and he'll start the chukker for us here at the top of the 4th. He takes a 10-yard throw. Now we got the Vics trail by 3. Martin gets around Grills but thinks better of it. Cops a big swing but no ding from young Grills. As Martin gathers up his reins, still in control, waiting for his road to come out of there, but it's not quite there yet. He's got Lance Anderson just sitting there. Martin going to take it himself and got a shocker of a bounce too. Reed good enough to regather, looked up and found his free man in Cam Templeton sitting all on his own. And he looks up, finds Corey Byers out on the lead. Pass goes out now and he was already on the turn. Nicely done by that number 2 in Cam Templeton. He set that one up, held on to it that little bit longer, and the fancy footwork from the number 1 pony in Corey Byers was already on the turn, able to take it right in an open goal. That right there is good polo cross. So that'll put them back in a 2-goal lead to the Australians. Ball's gone in, bounced off the 2s. Bounce off the 2s, and therefore the umpire, Chris Franklin, will send them all back once again. Ball's gone in, it's gone out the back. It looks like it's going to be Martin first. No, it won't. It'll be the number 2 for the Aussies, Lance Anderson. Anderson now, as he drops the hammer, hard pressed by Byers. Templeton looking to get a chop of the cherry. Lance Anderson not quite too keen to take him on just yet. He's got Will Weston to take Byers out of the equation. Now Anderson gets around Templeton, looks up to find Grills. Long pass went out and got a good pass that was too. And Grills, as cool as anything, dummy left, faked right, threw it over the top. He loves that little South African manoeuvre, and that'll put him in front by 4 goals once again with an official score of 11 goals. 11 goals, plays 8. Far side of the field with umpire Geordie Tate. Ball goes in. It's gone way out the back, and I mean way out the back. Who will it be? Weston, Martin, Anderson. No, coming through. We've got a whistle on play. So it looks like it'll be Australian ball. I think Corey Byers might have been done for turning on the ball just there. So it'll be Jimmy Grills. He'll take the 10-yard throw from the spot. 11 goals, plays 8. The Victorians need to make it happen if they're going to do it. Jimmy Grills, look at the fancy racket work there. He steps around the Victorian defence, ducks in and out. Nice work there by the number 1. He's got Martin to contend with as he dives into that goal-scoring area of the Australians. It's all Grills. As the fancy footwork from the Australian stock horse, the number 1, the goal scorer for Australia. That's Jimmy Grills as he puts it high over the top. And that'll put him in front by 5 goals. Corey Byers looking to put his team, put one on the board for his team up the front. There it is. Oh, the ball, that came out of Grills' racket, I think, as it's going to flick out the Aussie side. It'll sit there for Lance Anderson, hard pressed over the 30-yard line. Looked out, found his free man. Now look at him go, Will Weston. He's out on his own. They're not even looking. Puts the long bomb out to his number 1 in Grills. And that right there is what you want to see. What about the throw from Weston? Too good on this occasion, those Aussies. No. He missed it, sorry. He missed it. So Jared Martin, he took the 10-yard throw, found his free man in Cam Templeton. He's got Martin to take Grills out of the occasion, which leaves Templeton all on his own. And it looks like Corey Byers had a bit of traffic congestion down there in the top of the area due to Lance Anderson being at the wrong place at the wrong time. So that will be a free shot on goal for the Victorians. And they've put it through the uprights. And nice goal there by the Victorian men's. So costly mistake there from the Australians. I thought he got it, but the goal umpire's down there. He must have steered it wide. And the Victorians able to capitalise on that. He couldn't get that one though as Will Weston come through. He plucked one on Martin. Martin lacking a bit of pace there, but not from Byers. Byers giving one for his efforts. And Grills not missing that one, which will push him back out to a 4-goal margin. 13 goals, plays 9. So there's only 4 goals in it. It's one of the closer games we've had in this exhibition competition. We line them up. Ball's going out the back. It'll be that man in the green and gold shirt in Weston. Weston, as he looks up, finds his man Grills. The long pass went out. It'll be too much. No, it won't. Grills keeps it alive, but too little, too late. The man in the black and white jacket, he was right there at the scene of the crime, and he said it was carried over. So therefore, Jared Martin, the Victorian number 3, he'll take the ball from the spot. Umpire Franklin says, takes a 10-yard throw. Bounce come up nicely for him. And that's time, players. That's the end of the 4th chukker. Okay, well, the Australians have just sorted out a couple of horse and gear issues. We have Suzette Thomas for the Australians up the front. Lauren Sillito in the middle, and out the back, Lucy Grills. Ball's gone in. It's bounced off the 2s, coming out the Australian side. The number 1 for the green and gold will be Suzette Thomas. Hard pressed over the sideline, had to throw it back in, where she found her number 3, Lucy Grills. Grills was hard pressed by the Victorian defence, but 2 got on this occasion. She sat up, let them all fly by. Now she looks up to link up with her number 1 in Suzette Thomas. So Suzette out in front. Pass went out. Good pass it was, but Suzette Thomas couldn't quite handle it. So the ball will sit there, and umpire Chris Franklin will give the ball to the Victorian number 3 in Katie Martin. So Katie Martin in the Victorian shirt. She puts a 10-yard throw out to herself, comes up nicely. Looks to run that sideline, but was hard pressed by Thomas. And Katie Martin awaiting to work her way down. waiting for her road out of the area. But the exit ramp's all blocked up at the moment. And she makes a break now. Gets a shoulder in front. She's going to run that sideline. Got a kind bounce. Look at the pony hold its line. The body face pony of Katie Martin's. They're going to put it over Lister. Here comes Toledo. Yes, couldn't get her though. And that pass went out. Katie Martin, nice delivery, where Taylor Radford will take possession of the ball and take control. And she sits up at the top of the D. Looks to get around Lucy Grills. Thought of throwing it, but made a better decision and wants to make sure of it. We have the Australians in front by 4 goals at the top of the 5th with the number 1 for Victoria, Taylor Radford, in control, makes a break now, drives around the front, and that'll put the Victorians a little bit closer. And that was a nice goal there. That all the credit there has to be taken to Katie Martin doing all the work, running that sideline and looked up and found Radford. And as a result, they push it back to a 3-goal margin. Ball's gone out the back. It'll sit there for Katie Martin once again. Martin, she's got green and gold shirts all around her, left and right. Gets out of traffic nicely, though. Looks hard pressed there by Suzette Thomas. It's Martin still in control. Silito, she comes through, gives her one. Where's it? Nice work there by the number 2, Kylie Jolly, taking Silito out of the equation. It's still Katie Martin. Leaves the Aussie players fly by. As it's Katie Martin in control. Oh, she's been unloaded with a nice sneaky one there from Lauren. Ball's on the ground. They're coming from everywhere. Who wants it more? The Victorian? No, it's the Aussies. The Aussies have come out. I'm pretty sure it was Silito. She looked up, found her number 1, Thomas. And now Suzette Thomas in control. Riding there right with... No, it was Grills, sorry, beg your pardon. Lucy Grills, she come up with it. Looked up, found her number 1, Thomas riding shotgun in the hot sun. And that'll put them at goal number 14 for the Aussies. 14 to 10. Soledo. I told you on course with that. So Lauren Soledo doing all the work down there. Able to get the sneaky one on Katie Martin. Not what the Victorians wanted. Meanwhile, ball's gone out the back. It'll sit there for Martin. She's picked it up. Hard press there by Soledo. And forced out over the sideline. It looks like it's going to be an Australian ball, and the number 2 work there for Lauren Soledo. Well, that was a fantastic effort. It's not an easy job, the number 2. It's a thankless position, but this girl, Lauren Soledo, playing very well this weekend as Suzette Thomas took the 10-yard throw, rode in the open paddock, and once again, Soledo doing all the work, holding Katie Martin up in centre field, which just opened the game right up for Suzette Thomas. She had no one to contend with, no pressure, and that'll put goal number 15 on the board for the Australians. Ball went in, snapped at the front there by Radford. Just what the Victorians needed. She's got rackets coming from everywhere. They're throwing them all at her, including the kitchen sink. But it's Radford. She's still in control. Jolly needs to grab one. She needs a bit of help. It's Radford still. She's in a world of trouble. Unloaded, and looks like umpire Chris Franklin has indicated a hit down. So Taylor Radford had him coming from everywhere. As Taylor Radford will take the 10-yard throw. So Radford, they're going to march him down to the goal-scoring end for the Victorians. And Taylor Radford will take the 10-yard throw from the 30-yard line. Four goals, sorry. The margin of 4 goals in favour of the Aussies. Righto, we line up. Ball's gone in. It's bounced off the threes. No, Grills had it. She had it in her racket. Flicked it out. Jolly, she didn't want it. Left it behind, but that number one for the Vex. Radford, she didn't. Got 1, 2. Got on this. No, she didn't. Taylor Radford, unbelievable. Got the bounce over the line. Hard pressed. She had green and gold shirts all around her. Good enough to come up with it. And now she meets Lucy Grills in the top right-hand corner of the area. And Radford, she needs to get moving. Cops 1 off, Grills 2. Rise around the front. What a better polo cross, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together for that one, because that was incredible. So that'll pull them back to 3 goals in it. As Taylor Radford, like I said, had green and gold shirts all around her. Geordie Tate, pretty hard on that one, I thought. Radford wasn't even back there. And looked like the ball went in for the favour of Katie Martin. But ladies and gentlemen, that's time. That is the end of the 5th chukker. So put your hands together for the Australians. They're leading by 3 goals. It was Suzette Thomas, Lawrence Silito, and the number 3, Lucy Grills. For the Victorians, it was Taylor Radford, Kylie Jolly, and Katie Martin. So this is what it's come down to, the last chukker of this exhibition game, and we have the Aussies in front by 3 goals. And I've got a feeling, folks, you should strap yourselves in, because this is going to be one hell of a chukker. The Aussie men's team, riding on in the green and gold colours, looking to put these Victorians away for good, will be the number 1, Jimmy Grills, the number 2, Will Weston, the number 3, Lance Anderson. For the Victorians, they're on their home turf, the home ground. Come on, you Victorians, sitting on the sideline, rally the troops, get behind them. You're down by 3 as we welcome back to the field. Looks like we're going to stay the same. I reckon it'll be... Do they stay the same or not? Cam, Jared, Corey. So the Victorian men's, they ride onto the field. We've had a change up. That number 1 position will be Cam Templeton. The number 2 will be Jared Martin. And the number 3, Corey Byes. Righto, umpire Franklin. So the penalty was given in the last chukker. So this is it. They're 3 goals down. The Victorians, come on, you sidelines, get behind them. The ball will start with the Australian number 1 in Jimmy Grills. Grills now, as he takes a 10-yard throw. In come the Victorian defence. Martin can't quite get to him, neither could Templeton. Grills using Geordie Tate as a nice flagship, as offers a nice bit of cover from the umpire. But it's Jimmy Grills looking for that 30-yard line where he's going to take on the number 3, Corey Byes. Tucks over that 30-yard line, bounce, trap, and nice, cool and collected is this man Grills. Playing in the number 1 position this weekend. It's Jimmy Grills still in control, looking to do the dance with Corey Byes. As time ticks away, we have the Aussies in front by 3 goals, soon to be 4. Byes goes at Grills. Grills left him behind, and that'll put goal number 16. Goal number 16 on the board for the green and gold. Come on, Martin. Righto, they're 4 goals down to Victorians. They need something here. They need to lift. This is the one they need. They line them up, send them all back. It's umpire Franklin. Lines them up properly. Ball's gone in. It's tapped up. No, bounce off the 2s. Who wants it? It's down in front of Martin. No, it'll be Lance Anderson. He comes up, keeps it alive, flicks it in front for Jimmy Grills, and then he rolls. It's Jimmy Grills. Out in front, bounce, trap, shoot. There he goes. Nice goal there by Lance Anderson. Getting mixed up with some pretty tough company. As Anderson Eyes for the ball. Knew where his teammate was. Flicked it out in the centre field. And ball's gone in. Bounced off the twos. Who can come up with it? Martin. No, he couldn't. Looks like it'll be the Australian number 1 in Jimmy Grills. Grills lets the number 3, Corey Byers, fly by. But it's still Jimmy Grills' bounce trap. As Corey Byers looks to take on the young gun in Jimmy Grills. But Grills is calmly going for a ride out there. They're in front by 5 goals now, I think. And that's number 6. That'll push the margin out to 6 goals. So a scoreline that reads 18 goals, plays 12. So the Victorians on the sidelines, you need to have a look at yourselves because your team's out here and I can't hear a thing. There's no atmosphere in it. The Aussies are in front by 6 goals. Can the Victorians pull themselves back? Martin couldn't get a racket to it. It'll go on the ground for Weston. Weston wanted it more than anyone. Looked up, found Jimmy Grills, and Grills will be out in front. Will he drop the hammer? No, he won't. Sets up, lets the players fly by. Victoria can't get a racket to him. Grills got an unkind bounce. Byes, he's unseated, couldn't quite get it, but that man Grills, he can. Hard pressed over the sideline. No, he's not. As he sucks him in there, rides into an open goal, and that'll put him in front by 7. Ball's gone in, bounced off the twos. Oh, Lance Anderson, I think he might have had it, but he was stripped from that man up in the number 1 position in Cam Templeton. Templeton not mucking around, unkind bounce, rolled it through. And a man who never fears 5th gear is able to pull one back for the Victorians. So they pull it back to a 6-goal margin as the time ticks away in the last chukker of this exhibition match. Australia versus Victoria. As Cam Templeton rolls through, ball's gone in. Jared Martin couldn't quite handle it. Corey Byers too. And Corey Byers wearing one for his efforts. And that'll be a free goal to Victoria for a hit in the head. So they pull it back to 5 goals. I've just had a look at the timer and I can't tell you, but I'll tell you what, there is plenty of time here for the Victorians to stay in it. If you're on the sideline, get behind them. There's 5 goals in it. It's 4 or 5? 5. As the ball's gone out the back and looks Corey Byers, but we've got a whistle on play. So umpire Chris Franklin wasn't quite happy with him. So penalty's been given against Corey Byers in favour of the Aussie side. Not what the Victorians needed in the late stages of this game as Jimmy Grills took it. Puts the 1-2 back to his number 3, Lance Anderson. Look at that pass. He put the volley out to his number 1, who was all out on his own. They played this passing game all weekend, and it seems to really be happening for the Australians there as Jimmy Grills rolls her through and pushes her back out to a 6-goal margin. So as our next game that we're going to see here on the Olympus Horsefeed Field will be Victoria number 1 versus the New Zealand side. You've seen him in action yesterday. You'll see him again here after this game. Free goal Victoria has been awarded. Umpire Geordie Tate right on the job there. I think that penalty was against Lance Anderson. Might have been scratching his horse with a racket. So a free goal to Victoria. Ball's gone in, bounced off the ones. Grills, Templeton. No, it'll be no, still alive. It is still alive for that number 1 in Grills. He comes up with it. Looks up, finds Lance Anderson, all out on his own as Anderson will check the bay horse up. That's time, ladies and gentlemen. That's the end of this last chukker. And put your hands together because that was one hell of a game of polo cross. The run-out winners was Australia. Just too good for the Victorians today. And the men's chukker for the Victorians, it consisted of Cam Templeton, Jared Martin and Corey Byers. For the Australian side, the winners, the number 1, Jimmy Grills, the number 2, Will Weston, the number 3, Lance Anderson.